Hello, beautiful folk, and welcome to day 23 of SWDY Talks, where we are posting 31 videos in 31 days addressing women's wellness issues and talking to the women in our community about women's wellness. And today we have with us Janvieve. Janvieve and I know about 700 million people in common, and we were family members before we knew we were family members, but she's an important part of my community, and I'm super happy to share her with you. Janvieve, hi mama.
Hello, Yosara.
How
Bringing
you
the
doing?
energy that you brought me.
Yay!
So thank you.
My love, tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, I am Janvieve, as you mentioned. I live here in the Bronx. I'm also a proud, I don't know what it's called, the people that come here.
Clients. Customers, yeah.
Patrons.
Yeah, patrons. That too. We'll take it.
Of Sweetwater Dancing Yoga since the beginning.
Yes.
So I'm really proud of that. And I do human rights consulting. I'm a human rights strategist, people say. But I'm also in, not transitioning, but adding to that, I'm also a life coach. And this is the first time I say that in public.
Exciting. You heard it here first at SWDY Talks. You cannot complain. We got the cutting news. All right, so Janvieve, we are talking about wellness, and you and me have this discussion all the time. We talk about how we're struggling to prioritize ourselves, how the female body is just consistently, especially the female brown body, is just consistently deprioritized, and it's societal. It's not just individual in us, but one of my favorite things about Janvieve is that this is one of the relationships in which I can acknowledge those things, because we don't even acknowledge that these things are happening. We're so conditioned. Mm-hmm. So tell me, mama, what does wellness mean to you? What does that comprise?
I'm in my 40s. It doesn't look like it, but I am.
Yeah.
And wellness is something that is still up to today evolving.
Yeah.
Right? So for me, wellness is not, like, I don't have a definition for wellness.
Mm-hmm.
Wellness is just like me being aware, one, of my body,
Mm-hmm.
where my body aches and where it doesn't ache and where it feels good. And then figuring out what's going on that is triggering whatever is going on in my body,
Mm-hmm.
right? And for me now, at the stage that I am, wellness is having that awareness,
Yeah.
awareness of, oh, this is happening here because this happened last week and I didn't deal with it.
Nice.
And now I have these things in my body that are impacting me this way,
Yeah.
right? So it's not, I can't give you a definition. And I sometimes, I'm not over critical, but I'm skeptical of people that are like, this is wellness, this is wellness, this is wellness, because they obviously don't understand the different fluidities and the gamma of experiences that create the things that make us unwell.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And that's where I focus, right?
Yeah.
And when I say I focus, I've done human rights work and social justice all my life, since I'm a young teenage person, right? I'm talking 12, 13, 14. And now in my 40s. So I've seen the transitions. I've lived in different countries. I have different traumas because I've left under different conditions. I've had to move from country to country because of different circumstances. So of course, there's a trauma there. There's unspoken, unresolved issues, political, cultural, social, economic, all those things that are really not dealt with. And this is one of the reasons why I'm focusing a lot on the individual and the collective experience through the life coaching that I'm doing now, because as Black women that have had different experiences, we have not had a space within the social justice movement to really, like, all these things are impacting me, and if they're impacting me,
They're impacting all of us. Yeah, our entire community. That's
exactly.
Right.
And
That's
if
right.
I'm experiencing this, more than likely is that other people are experiencing this too. But we're not dealing with those things. We're dealing with justice. We're dealing with, like, the rights that are being taken away from us, the economic, the housing, and all these things that, while we still have to fight for those, we have to fight for ourselves too.
Right.
And this is where the one-on-one and the small group and sharing stories and and not sharing stories to the media, because that's the other thing, right? But sharing stories among ourselves so we can hear ourselves and find answers, alternatives, solutions, community building, all those things, like what you and I do all the time.
Yeah.
That we sit out there by the counter as clients come in or don't come in, and we're talking, we're discussing all these different things, and I leave with a little gift and lighter.
That's right.
And I'm sure you are a little bit lighter that rest of the day, because
I do.
we get a chance to speak about our personal experiences.
And that's the thing. I think it takes community for us to be able to even call it out and acknowledge these things happening. I mean, the other day I asked Janvieve and her husband for some support. And I was really struck by how I physically reacted. Like, I started crying, and immediately Janvieve was the one to point out, it's because we're so not even aware of how we don't even think we're worth the ability to even ask for these favors. That's how deep this trauma and this experience goes. And as women, I think that is absolutely a universal experience. I haven't had one woman that hasn't at least pointed this out, this experience, or is starting to acknowledge it. And as much as we are awakening to racial justice, man, it's only starting to peel back the layers of misogyny, because those two things are so intertwined so powerfully that it's really painful. I agree. I think all of this healing happens in community, and just that conversation informed, so many of our conversations informed this work that I'm doing and asking and talking to our community about these things. So kudos to us totally for that.
Yes.
All right, so tell me, what do you do for your wellness, Janvieve, when you are looking to take care of yourself? What does that entail? What do you do? You're doing yoga tonight.
I'm doing yoga tonight.
All right.
The second 2 weeks in a row.
Woot woot.
And this is one thing that a lot of people are not gonna even have a clue about. It took Omar and I. Omar is my partner, who's amazing. Check him out.
He's the bomb.
It took us 7 years to do yoga together.
Amazing.
And that happened last week.
Yeah.
And I say that because, as simple as it sounds, the support that we have, like we have you, right? So coming to a class is not an issue, but it's the kids who's gonna watch them. And I know you would watch them, but you have your son as well. You have the clients. So it took us 7 years to get a yoga together. So that happened last week. It's happening again. So that's one thing. And the other thing, I meditate, right? Every morning.
Sweet.
I meditate at least 15 minutes. And meditation is a practice, it's a muscle. It just doesn't happen just like that, and you don't reap the benefits immediately, right? So you have to be conscious of that. And when you fall off the meditation wagon, which I do here and there, oof.
You feel the difference.
You feel the difference, right? So one thing I do intentionally, because I also suffer with migraines, but when I have a practice of wellness, they're better. I start off my day on the right foot.
It makes it.
Yeah. So as upset as, actually I shouldn't say upset, as stressed as I might be, as annoyed with so many people as I might be, we live in a white society, so that happens very often. I really, really prioritize starting off on the right foot. It helps me and it helps my family. And the right foot might mean I fill up a huge bottle of water and I leave it next to my bed the night before. As soon as I wake up, that's the first thing that I do. Then I go use the restroom and I come right back and I meditate. If I don't drink that water, I'm not gonna meditate. Like, it's just that
It's
simple.
a ritual.
So I have to be conscious about the night before putting that water down and not being lazy if I forget it and I'm already in bed. And that's the key.
Gotta get back up, girl.
That water is the key. So that's one piece of it. The other one is I really try as a family to start off the day with some type of fun.
Awesome.
Right? So either, waking up the kids with music, having a little dance party right before we
Prasad
go
loves
in.
that.
Right? And it really helps set their day up, and it
does.
really helps set my day up.
Yeah, I'm starting to do that too. I started playing reggae for Prasad in the morning, and oh my gosh, it just made such a difference for him.
Such a difference.
It was like, Mommy, play that song that I like.
It really does. And then I work out, you know,
Yeah.
at least twice a week. I really try and hit the gym, and I don't hit it hard.
Awesome.
It's just a mentally being there, stretching there, doing some weights, doing some abdominals. That, to me, that's enough to get the circulation going.
That's awesome.
And planning my day.
Yeah, the planning is actually really key, I have found. And then the making sure that I'm soft enough to be okay with the things that didn't get done on that plan of my day. Because, man, things just throw you off. And that's what, I mean, you kind of hit on what helps is these little tiny rituals that, you know, push you to the next step. The question I wanted to ask you, though, is what, you know, I found that this is the first time in my life that I'm so intimately, emotionally tied to our political scene. And I know that I was like deathly traumatized by the last presidential election to the point where my voice still gets, you know, I still feel the anger. And I didn't think that would be something that would make it so difficult for me to treat myself well, but it was. I'm still working that out. And I know that every time we lose an activist, like the Brazilian woman, what's her name? Say her name.
Maria Franco.
Franco, yes, Maria Franco. Like all these activists, Janvieve, this is her work, so this is her world. I know that you're always super aware of these. Do these things have an impact?
I feel.
Tell me that impact.
You know, I was on a panel this week and I broke down in tears at the very beginning because I'm also mourning this woman's death. Now, I met her years ago.
Wow.
Years ago.
Amazing.
I can't claim her as a friend because we were just acquaintances, like political kind of thing, right? But she was in a workshop that I facilitated.
Wonderful.
Like 2007, whatever it was. And I'm mourning her, not because I don't know that other women have been shot and killed and everything else, right? But I'm at an age now where it's my counterparts. We are the ones that are being attacked and targeted.
That's right. That's right.
Right? So I helped with a campaign of a sister of mine, Francia Marquez, in Colombia, who is Mariel's age. She's 37, 38. She has death threats against herself. She has to travel with security, and this is not new. She's had the same security and the death threats for around 6 years now.
Amazing.
Right? And she fears for her life, and I fear for her life, and so many people fear for her life.
That has a huge impact on well-being,
Of a community.
Completely.
Of a whole community. And then, you know, she's also our mother. She's a daughter. She's all the things that I am. She's black. You know, she's... So I'm mourning because I feel like I'm so connected to these women that are being savagely attacked and targeted and killed for their beliefs.
Yeah.
And then you have shootings in schools. You have all the stuff that happened in the Bronx, incarceration. Women are the largest population growing in, you know. So all these things, of course, they impact us.
Yeah.
Not only do they impact our bodies, but they impact our personal relationships with people, with our partners, with our children.
Absolutely.
Right? One thing that I'm doing, because, you know, this mother, and I know we'll get into another conversation another month, maybe May, around motherhood and mothering, because mothering under these conditions,
it's brutal.
Not only like the external piece, but mothering with this bullshit here, right? When you're at a playground and news break out, and then you're like, yeah, go, and you're like, you know, it's almost like you're living in a dual world where you're two different people. You're faking it for your kids.
You gotta compartmentalize the trauma so that you can deal with it whenever you can, and we never can.
And then we're faking it for ourselves.
That's right.
And the kids know that you're faking it, so then they act up in a different way because they know that you're not your whole person.
So see, this is my point. This is why these conversations to me are so epically important, because These are not considerations that are out there, that are known. These are not considerations that even women in our own community acknowledge or even realize the burden, the equity that gets lost in surviving these things and surviving these pressures and taking these things seriously. And there's no way not to. Our children are directly impacted, our lives are directly impacted. So, yeah, that's why I brought y'all Janvieve, because we can have this conversation.
And we should continue these conversations.
We do need to continue these conversations, and we're going to talk about this. Janvieve is also an amazing producer, amongst other things. So we're gonna make some stuff happen.
We're gonna make it happen. I've been thinking about it. Summertime, I'm taking off. I could call it a sabbatical, but I'm a consultant. But I'm taking off. I'm restructuring my whole.
Let's get creative. We got to get funky creative.
Oh, it's coming.
Yeah.
So you all listeners.
Yes.
Come September, October.
Yes.
Sweetwater is gonna have some
stuff going on. All right. All right, beautiful folk. Thanks so much for listening. I hope this was as touching and moving for you as it was for me. Thank you, Janvieve, Mama, always for sharing with us. And as always, we leave y'all in love and light. Peace.
Great.